Thanks a bunch, Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones. You had to say you think the earth is flat, didn't you?
Go nuts on my nuts.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the very first naked-chinned episode of Playing a Blinder with me, the Creaky Blinder. Now I know we usually look at a video on this channel, but not today. Oh no, there was no way I was sitting through a 2-hour podcast just to pick out the few minutes of lunacy that this idiot said. So I thought we'd go through an article instead. I can read, kind of. Tidy! I'm down here. I'm going to try doing it like this today, so I hope it works. So this is the article in question. This is Stephen Carpenter, and he is the lead guitarist from the band The Deftones. And Stephen Carpenter explains his flat earth, anti-vax, simulation theory beliefs. This was from a podcast that I honestly couldn't be bothered to sit through because it was over 2 hours long. And a lot of what he was saying was complete drivel. I know, hard to believe, right? But Deftones guitarist Stephen Carpenter appeared as one of the latest guests on the Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli podcast to discuss his passion for various conspiracies. And among the conversation, Carpenter confirmed his belief in the earth being flat, not believing in vaccines or viruses, nuclear weapons not actually existing, manifesting reality simulation theory and more. Therefore proving that too much drugs are definitely not good for the mind. For some background, Carpenter revealed in the chat that he's been subscribing to conspiracy theories and has had an interest in them dating back to the early 90s. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with believing in conspiracy theories. A lot of conspiracy theories are really interesting, but unfortunately, due to people like this, the word conspiracy has kind of lost its meaning a bit. When asked outright if he was a flat earth dude, Carpenter responded, "Absolutely, if you think you live on a spinning flying ball, you're in a cult." Now, I generally don't like repeating myself, but for the sake of context, I will. A cult. A system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. And as I said in my last Nathan Thompson video, Flat Earth is the object and the Sky Daddy is the deity that they direct their devotion towards. So who is a cult? He also went on to dispute the concept of space and space travel as it's commonly presented, stating the only thing that was ever launched into space was humanity's imagination. He later went on to say of his various views, "Here are 3 things you need to keep your clarity through all of this mental insanity. This will keep you straight through all of it. If you just remember these 3 things, and those 3 things are 1. Projection, 2. Incrementalism, and 3. The boogeyman. Everything. The boogeyman is constantly being projected and he's incrementally getting worse all of the time. Boogeyman, boogeyman, boogeyman." Now, it's interesting to me that a conspiracy theorist like this guy is bringing up the boogeyman, because aren't religious people the ones that live in fear of an almighty God who can smite them down at his own will? Now, non-religious people don't live in fear of an imaginary superpower. So I don't really see what the boogeyman comment has got to do with anything, unless of course his version of the boogeyman is the dreaded they and them. So he goes on to say, "I literally filter through the fact that I know I'm not on a flying, spinning space ball and the boogeyman is always trying to get me." But how do you know? What makes you so sure? What evidence has been provided to you that makes you believe that the earth is flat beyond any shadow of a doubt? Because everything we see in our real everyday lives completely contradicts that. Unless, of course, you're a tiny-minded idiot who can't look at the bigger picture. The simplest term, from my perspective, with flat earth is simply, I know we're not on a spinning, flying space ball. Now, what it actually is, and all that, and what depths it goes, that's still not to be discovered, and people are working on those things. So basically what he's saying is, like every other flat earther, I can't prove it's flat, I just know. And it's just exciting, you know, seeing it from a much clearer perspective once you acknowledge it, because it's something that's blatant and it's in everything. And if you just have to, you know, understand what you're looking at, and I mean you don't feel it, I mean, if you're walking on a treadmill 0.5 mile per hour and I unplugged it, you wouldn't feel it. So he also elaborated further. When you tell people that the earth is flat, I want to ask and answer all the questions that you want to ask and answer as well. But I want you to first acknowledge that you don't live on a spinning space ball. Well, yeah, obviously, because if somebody is resistant to the idea of flat earth, then you're just not going to be able to talk to them about it without them thinking you're a complete raving idiot, which all flat earthers, with no exceptions, are. You're going to fall for everything if you don't know that you're not actually in a reality. And that's the entire point of even mentioning the earth is flat. When you're saying you know, when you're having conversations with people, I don't mind having conversations with people, especially if they're completely different opinions than mine, and especially when they are, because they're usually where I'll cut right through to it all and they'll be like, all right, I'm going to take you to the maximum when it comes to crazy. I'm going to let you laugh because I know you want to. For at least 3 months straight, when a friend of mine brought it up to me and another mutual friend of ours, I laughed at him every single time he brought it up. I told him he was insane. I was like, damn bro, you ain't seen the videos, you ain't seen the pictures, you know, like everybody. I went through the whole you know laughter and you're insane. Because really, one of my favorite subjects in existence was space. I love space, infinity. Like, come on, that's all, like everything, like damn, everything is possible in infinity, right? So I really loved space. So when it came for me to know nearly like 3 months, I laughed at him all the time. And I told him he was crazy. That's when I learned it yet, but I wasn't on the path to learning through passes through 3 stages. Stage 1 is ridicule, which I specialize in. Stage 2 is violent opposition, and stage 3 is acceptance. Most of us go to stage 3 unless it's something that cuts against our belief, in which case we then either go to stage 1 or we laugh it off, or we go to stage 2 and we get pissed. I mean, that's how it works for everything. And I didn't know this yet. Like I said, I laughed at him repeatedly for months and then he just got tired of getting laughed at. I wish other flat earthers would as well, but they don't. Luckily for me, because then I wouldn't have anything to make videos about. And then he never stopped exploring the subject for nearly a year. I say almost a year, about 9 months. Later on, he sent me a link to a video called Flat Earth, the Ultimate Litmus Test by a guy named Marty Leeds. Awesome video, which I will have to have a look at. When I first saw that, the message, why is this guy repeating himself? This is a transcript, by the way, it's not my terrible reading. He actually never presented me or any of us with any information, actual video proof or anything like that. He was just telling us stuff about it and the conversation would just get heated right away. But when I first saw this, my initial response was laughter, because that's what I've always done. And then I was like, you know what? He's actually showing me something now and I'm still laughing about something that I don't know about. See what he's talking about, because he's telling me a year later the earth is flat and I'm still going, what are you talking about? So I was coming home from a tour we did in Texas. We had talked for years about doing a tour. Man, it's so big in Texas and awesome. We could tour Texas. People love music in Texas. So we had finally done that and we were coming home that day when I got the message. So I got home, I'm doing my come home from tour unpacking chores, doing the laundry and finally enjoying myself. So I'm in and out of this video and I'm finishing up doing all my laundry and everything, blah blah blah. Why is he telling us about washing his dirty pants? Heavy. And like I said to myself, I think I'm going to watch it again. It was really compelling. Well, it would be to an idiot. I want to watch it without interruption, so I did. And then after I watched the video, I sent it to my homie, a text, and I was like, alright bro, I stand corrected, you were right, I was wrong, the earth is flat. And then I just go down the path of watching endless videos from there. That was like 4 years ago. And I mean, I've spent hours and hours just watching videos and watching channels come and go. The subject became, like they always go to put our little warning page up, the box under every video. Well, yeah, that's to protect normal people from misinformation morons. It's like when you watch something about reality, the Matrix is trying to remind you that this isn't real. Look away. But like I said, I was like, look, you're right, I was wrong. I'm sorry I laughed at you all those times. The very first realization. I have to say that it was probably a couple of weeks and I really wished I had this volume of information to fill in the hole where the other volume of information used to be. When you first learn about flat earth, at least when I did, I learned about that no dinosaur shit, no nuke stuff and everything. I mean, you're literally just starting to go down the path. Oh my god, there's so much fake shit and it keeps happening, you know. But by stating in the original interview that you learned through Flat Earth about the no dinosaur shit and that nukes don't exist, don't you realise that that perfectly illustrates what people like me have been saying all along, that to believe one conspiracy you have to believe them all? So basically what you've done, you've allowed yourself to become sucked into the Flat Earth, and now everything is a conspiracy. So what do you think? Do you see it as just as much of a problem as I do when high profile celebrities like this guy state that they believe in things like the Flat Earth? Because I certainly don't think it helps anybody in the real world. The only thing it does is throw fuel on the fire that is Flat Earth. It's all linked below, so go and have a look for yourself. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm the Creaky Blinder, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe by order of the Creaky Blinder.